About Shameless, right? So apparently the season finale is done. We're talking about this right here, right now. And overall, I thought it was actually quite a good season finale. But there are some things that I kind of thought was a little bit like, and I thought they could have handled that a little bit better, right? So let's start off with the first thing, right? So this the big plot is the basic wedding, right? So Frank goes to this guy, right? And the guy that he kind of, gave the money to kind of put the hit on Sean. It turns out he actually kind of played him. He actually took his money, and now, Frank has to kind of do it himself. And that's one of the big negatives I have to say kind of for this episode. It was a bit of a cop-out, right? Because for me personally, I was like, they're kind of building this thing up, and boy, did they do a complete, 180 as to what the hell this story was going to be. Now, granted, the way it kind of turned out towards the end wasn't bad, but I was expecting it kind of to be Frank kind of putting the gun or whatever it may be, what you kind of expected from last week to happen in this week, but it didn't really happen. They just kind of got rid of it as soon as it started this episode. So that was one of the negatives, right? So Frank goes into the house also, right? And when he goes into the house and he gets the toothbrush and he's like flossing it in his ass, Sean's toothbrush. And every time Sean, once he used it and he came to kiss Fiona, I was just like, don't kiss him because his mouth smells like shit. Don't do that. But yeah, that's what I thought. But okay, let's talk about some of the storylines, right? So Ian's stuff is kind of very interesting, and I thought it was handled quite well, right? Ian's kind of looking for a job after he got fired, pretty much, and now he eventually is kind of going back to the bottom and looking for his job at the university, janitor thing. He even goes back to the fairy tale land, whatever it may be, the stripper thing, and he really must feel like bottom of the barrel. But Caleb kind of tells him not to give up or whatever. Then he goes back to his job. He's saying, I'm not going anywhere until you give me back my job. You can't discriminate against me. And granted, I thought that was a very good speech. I thought he actually delivered it quite well. I thought he actually had a very good, a presence for. I would give him his job back. But in reality, and I love Shameless, but let's be real here. If you go to your job after getting fired, there's a pretty good chance they're going to escort you off the premises very quickly, and just call the cops. They're not going to wait and let everybody have this big old moment and be like, yeah, let's go after him. Let's bring him on a run or whatever. But I thought it was nice that he didn't give up and not just settling for whatever he can get possibly. Now the Lip thing is very interesting because Lip is I'm feeling very sorry for Lip. He's just going down the rabbit hole quite badly, quite frankly, right? So once he look, Lips goes into pretty much rehab towards the end of the thing, or maybe he doesn't. But he must have a very good teacher because this teacher bails him out of jail. He's really trying to help him. And then Lip pretty much still shits on this guy. Now, granted, eventually he does, like I say, he possibly goes to rehab or whatever, and even the teacher kind of pays for it. But the saddest scene, really, was when he was in a bar and he was just he felt like one of the regulars. He felt too familiar with that situation, and it was very sad to kind of see, quite frankly. And everybody else was just like saying to himself that, what the hell happened to you, man? You just kind of went from the most promising to just like nothing, really. So that was kind of sad to see. But I did like the Debbie and Lip moment at the wedding later on, right? Just in general. Now, Debbie's storyline is pretty much very simple. She's a bit of a bitch, right? So she wasn't going to come to the wedding or whatever. And I can understand she's trying to be a powerful, single, white female mother. But it really is not working because even the doctor is just saying who's your family? What is it with? Who's helping you, right? So at the end of the day, I don't think she necessarily came for the wedding, because when she said her reason why she came for the wedding because of the pictures, I was just like, Jesus Christ, you're still a fucking bitch. Even at 15, these goddamn kids don't learn nothing. But then I was just like, all right, sure, why not? If she's come to the wedding, but I think she only came to the wedding because she's slowly trying to tell Fiona, like, help me, I need fucking help with my baby. But yeah, either way, I was just thought, all right. Whatever. Carl's thing I thought was funny still. When they're like searching for dresses for the wedding for Dominique, I thought that was funny with the erection thing. I think Carl's stuff is still very funny, but it's not that much there. The opening scene with V, Svetlana, and Kevin, I thought that was actually really good. Seeing how their relationship is like working in a three-way, whatever. I thought they made for some of the most funniest scenes in this episode, quite frankly. And now the big wedding, right? The big wedding, as you probably expected, was a fucking disaster once again. So Frank kind of comes in, he kind of realizes, and he's telling everybody secrets. Lips are drunk, Ian's bipolar, Debbie's a 15-year-old baby, whatever it may be. Says Sean he's pretty much a dope fiend still. He used on the wedding day, whatever it may be. So I'm watching that, and I'm just like, fuck. This guy, I really want to fucking choke him. And you see Lip about to just explode. But I really wanted to choke Frank in this situation to the point where I was just like, damn, this guy ruined everything. Sean losing his kid or whatever. And at the very end, you kind of see Sean kind of ends things with Fiona. Once again, another wedding or whatever. So Debbie was kind of right. But everything kind of just like ends or whatever it may be. And then therefore, he goes with his kid. He already said that was kind of like his main priority. And then Fiona's kind of left alone. They the whole family, Gallagher's and V and Kev, they kind of dump Frank into the lake, and now it's like what happens to Frank or whatever it may be. Now, for overall, I think this season was actually quite good. I really enjoyed this season. It's just that a couple of things really took a turn for the worse. Quite frankly, right? Lip's descent into darkness. It's just like what? Even though Carl's stuff was funny, it does seem like a very bad, distant memory when he was acting black. This was a very dark fucking season to the point where I was just like, God damn. Now this I think was better than last season to me personally. But fuck, this shit was some dark stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But let's go a little bit lighter. Let's have a little bit of happiness for next season. But does Lip go into rehab? What do you think? I'd say he probably does, because what would be the point? But that was a very touching moment when Debbie said, she doesn't want him to turn into Frank. I thought that was a sad thing to hear, because, he is pretty much turned into Frank. But that's my review. Comment, subscribe, and like. I don't know where Chucky or Sammy's mom were. They kind of just was ended. Also, what's her name? Lip's girlfriend, Mandy, just kind of came in and out. Those are some negatives just like popped in or whatever. But that's my review. Comment, subscribe, and like. Help me get to 400 subscribers. Signing out.